Family. Some consider West Africa to be in crisis. Others consider it a compression. One thing for certain, pressure is stacking faster than solutions can absorb it. Pressure from coups that don't resolve themselves, from terrorism drifting south, and from economic promises that sound good at summits but don't hold up in real life. This week, in Abuja, some of the West African leaders gathered for what was officially a routine ECOWAS summit. But let's be clear from the start, Abuja was the stage, not the story. The real story is what is missing from the room, what was spoken around of instead of addressed directly, and what can no longer be treated as temporary. West Africa is not dealing with isolated coups anymore. It's dealing with a parallel power structure that has consolidated, coordinated, and declared permanence. The Alliance of the Sahel States, AES. It's not a footnote to ECOWAS. It is now one of the central forces shaping West Africa's future. So Abuja hosted the meeting, but the Sahel is shaping the outcome. And remember, if you want more Africa First stories the West often ignores, hit subscribe because we don't chase the headlines, we chase the truth behind them. So this story isn't about embarrassment or collapse. It's about who defines legitimacy when reality moves faster than institutions.
Is highlighted.
It is the abiding conviction of His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, whose actions have consistently signaled that our unity is not transactional, but foundational. We remain persuaded that fraternity, not force, must define the future of our community. This session could not have come at a more consequential moment.
He also made clear Nigeria's position.
The external threats confronting West Africa today demand nothing less than a united front. Terrorism, violent extremism, unconstitutional changes of government, transnational organized crime, arms proliferation, cyber insecurity, climate shocks, food insecurity, and irregular migration recognize no borders. No single member state, regardless of size or strength, can achieve enduring stability in isolation. Our security, prosperity, and resilience are indivisible. We must sit at the same table, speak with one voice, and act with shared resolve.
For the chairman of the Economic Community of West African States and president of Sierra Leone, collective action is the way to go.
So, on December 14th, ECOWAS held the 68th ordinary session in Abuja under conditions leaders previously described as unprecedented, right? Yes, Guinea-Bissau's transition plan was rejected. Yes, sanctions and democratic timelines were discussed, but those were surface conversations. Underneath them sat a deeper concern. The regional order ECOWAS was built on to manage is no longer singular. Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger, now formally aligned as the Alliance of Sahel States, have withdrawn from ECOWAS mechanisms, rejected its sanctions framework, and begun coordinating security, diplomacy, and external partnerships independently. This is not protest behavior. This is institutional separation, and it changes how every ECOWAS decision now lands. So you can't hold a regional meeting about stability while pretending three central pillars are temporarily missing. So let's slow this down because this is where the coverage often goes wrong, right? The official framing is that ECOWAS presents the Sahel situation as a democratic deviation. Coups are framed as interruptions. AES is described as temporary, and this preserves moral clarity and institutional continuity. But the operational reality is AES exists because Sahel governments concluded that ECOWAS security responses failed to contain insurgency. Sanctions harmed civilians more than leadership, and regional decision-making increasingly reflected external priorities, right? So whether you guys agree with these conclusions or not, or those conclusions or not, the outcomes matter, right? AES is not a pause, it's a counter architecture. And the unavoidable conclusion here is that West Africa now operates under two legitimacy logics at the same time. ECOWAS prioritizes constitutional procedures, right? AES prioritizes security sovereignty. So neither framework can simply erase the other, and pretending one is illegitimate only deepens fragmentation. So you can't stabilize a region by denying the geography that defines it, right? So now let's talk about the impact. So because this is an abstract theory, coups are political legitimacy, right? Coups in Mali, Burkina Faso, Niger did not occur in isolation. They emerged from prolonged insecurity, contested elections, and public distrust. ECOWAS's challenge is no longer restoring democracy in a vacuum, right? It's defining how legitimacy is rebuilt after collapse. So sanctions without dialogue harden resistance, and dialogue without leverage weakens authority. So populations across West Africa are watching closely, not just the elites. It's a security reality that we're having to look into because the Sahel is the epicenter of West Africa's security crisis. Armed groups move through Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso before reaching coastal states, right? Weapons flow along land corridors before appearing at the ports, and instability in the Sahel becomes instability everywhere else. So any regional security framework that sidelines AES is structurally incomplete. Extremist networks don't wait for institutional reconciliation. They exploit coordination gaps immediately. So the Sahel is not marginal to West Africa's economy. It's a transit backbone. Food supply chains, transit routes, and energy corridors all pass through AES territory. Fragmenting the region institutionally fragments markets and practice. So integration cannot be coastal only. Landlocked states anchor the map whether institutions agree or not. So now we're looking at how leadership has just changed. So Sierra Leone's Julius Maada Bio has taken over the ECOWAS chair at the moment where restoration is no longer possible without adaptation. So the choices ahead are clear and uncomfortable. ECOWAS can recalibrate engagement with AES without endorsing coups. They can do that, right? The AES can institutionalize cooperation without full separation. So both sides can entrench, turning divergence into permanence, right? So if ECOWAS insists on exclusion, it weakens itself. If AES isolates completely, it narrows its options. So the only stable outcome here involves negotiating coexistence, not denial, right? So this is not a compromise, it's realism under pressure. So here's the truth without slogans, right? We won't say Abuja failed, it revealed the problem. West Africa can't stabilize by amputating the Sahel. And the Sahel cannot secure itself by pretending coasts don't matter, right? So ECOWAS isn't obsolete, AES is not unnecessary. They are now codependent realities in a region being shaped by coups, by climate stress, and by demands for sovereignty. So, mashallah, that's your African Insight for today. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe because I'm Mr. EmpowerTV. We don't chase the headlines, we chase the truth behind them. This is Mr. Empower, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.